What up? What up? What up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this House Music Monday edition. And you're probably like, what the heck happened to you? Man, let me tell you something. I had a phenomenal birthday weekend, which is why I'm hurting this morning. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm a trooper. I'm a prime time a gamer. I'm a gamer. So when it's time to play, I perform. Man, let me tell you, it was a great weekend. So thanks for tuning in to Shawn and Maya in the mornings today. Listen, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at SM_mornings, at SM_mornings. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made a nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snap. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. Want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. And if you want to follow her on Instagram, because you do it just for the gram, you can follow her at Maya Akai, Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. Man, if you're watching us on the app, thank you first and foremost for downloading the app, and thank you for supporting us and watching us on the app. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't say hello to my man. He is the Wiz. He's the man behind the curtain. He is our Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, Ivan Vargas. Ivan, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Good morning, Shawn. How are you? That's the question. Should be, how are you?
Man, tell you what, man. My birthday, it finished up strong. I didn't get in till 2 o'clock this morning. So, needless to say, I did not go to CrossFit today. I may go later. I may go later today. I don't know. Or I may just sleep.
You may need an IV.
I might. I think I do.
Oh man! I mean, that's good. Happy belated again. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, happy birthday weekend. You deserved it.
It was fun, man. It was fun. It wasn't even a lot.
Treat yourself.
It did. So you can see how much color I got. Like, I'm all dark. So man, Michigan was an unbelievable time.
I know. I saw the picture. I was like, damn, that's packed. And I was like, dude, where do you move? You were right on the beach. It was like there was sand around you. Like, you could see some sand, but then there was just like bodies.
Yeah, it was cool. It was such a good time. It wasn't as hot as I thought it was going to be, which is good. So it was like mid-80s and a slight breeze. So man, it was good. It was a good time. Talk about being able to get away and relax.
Right.
It was a good time. Then yesterday, Sunday fun day at Output. I got there late, so I couldn't get there for steak and eggs. I had to stop at La Garra. I had to run to the flea market yesterday for some stuff. So I went across the street from the flea market and had some carnitas and some barbacoa, some tacos. Man, it was delicious. And then I get to Output, and you know, I think I bought one beer yesterday. one of the 8 or 12 that I consumed.
It's your birthday, you know. It's your birthday. You got to do what you got to do. It'll be disrespectful if you didn't drink those 12 other drinks.
Exactly, and I didn't want to disrespect the people who bought them with their hard-earned money. So, but you know what? I'll tell you, it was all in all, it was a good time, man. It was a good time.
Good.
Well, listen, guys, we got a great show for you. Man, oh man, oh man. We got Casey Boguslaw coming on today, 10 o'clock. Man, we're going to talk about this opening weekend. Man, Casey Boguslaw coming on at 10 o'clock. Also joining us in the 10 o'clock hour is our man, Kenneth Davis. He's going to co-host the second half of the show with me from 10 to 11. And then at 10:30, about 10:35, 10:40, Jason Palmer is going to come on. He's going to talk about their show, a little bit about their show tonight. They got a great show tonight. What's up, cuz? It's the live show, the new show that we have on SportsZone Chicago. And let me tell you, it's a banger. Tonight is a banger. So Jason Palmer is going to come on at 10:30 to talk about that. Well, guys, you know how we do the first segment of every show. It's called Top of the Morning Tea, and these are the hot topics of the night before. And this is powered by the Chicago Crusader. So with that, I bring in our good friend. Joseph Phillips. Joseph, Papa, how are you doing this morning?
God bless you, man. How are you? Happy birthday to you, brother.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Man, let me tell you, it was fun. This weekend was fun. It was fun, but you can hear my voice took a beating. But it was fun. I had a good time, and it was well worth it, well deserved, and I had a blast. How are you, Papa?
Oh man, I'm blessed. I'm out here, the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. With my it's a honeymoon with family. I was going to ask you guys at the end of the segment if I can have my family say hi to you guys, because
sure.
I wanted to just wave hi. So I told them I'll signal them on once y'all give me the thumbs up at the end of the segment.
Sure, no problem. So Smoky Mountains of Tennessee, huh?
Man, this is a beautiful cabin, man. Like I'm like, if you look behind me, man, it's like I'm like just in awe seeing.
Hey, Joseph, go ahead and flex a little bit. Show Shawn what you show. Yeah.
Whoa. Look at that, man. Whoa.
I said I wanted to join you, Shawn, last week, man. I was like, Shawn went on vacation last week. I'm going on vacation this week.
Joseph's having a good morning in Cloud City. You know what I'm saying? Chilling up in the sky.
It's me a good breakfast too, man. So I'm happy. So you'll see my son today, my wife today, and then my friends. So.
Oh, great, man! Look forward to it toward the end of the segment. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, guys, you know how we do the first segment of every show. It's called Top of the Morning to you. And, man, the first Top of the Morning topic is the Cubs. We'll start off with positive for you guys. The Cubs take 2 out of 3 from the Milwaukee Brewers with a 9-1 victory Sunday. Give me your thoughts, Joseph. You're a Cub fan. You're a big Cub fan. Your thoughts opening weekend.
Man, I'm just humbled to say, first, shout out to Cal Hendricks. Complete game shutout, 3 hits, 9 Ks. Minimum of 101 pitches. I mean, the man dominated. In addition to that, Ian Happ has been stepping up. He knocked a few out of the park over the weekend. Wilson Contreras, the young bull, he's putting in work. Anthony Rizzo, Rizzo, hitting home was all over the place. His back looks okay, as we predicted, Shawn. You called it, Shawn. And then in addition to that, we've been getting stellar pitching for Tyler Chatwood, and we beat our vaunted rivals, the Milwaukee Brewers, and their conspirator Houston Astros cheating scheme that they've been using against us for years. So,
it was good to see the Cubs get off to a good start. And that's what you got to do. Is in this shortened series, you have to get off to a quick start. And we've talked about it before, Ivan and I and Maya, just start winning series. Yeah, a 10, 12-game win.
But no, I think Shawn locked up on us. But no, I mean, what we did talk about was winning series, getting off to a good start. But you have to win series. You can't give up any game without, whether it be a 3-game set or a 4-game set. Every single game is pivotal. So the way you go about using your bullpen, the way you go about, putting in pinch hitters or replacing guys in the field, it's almost playoff-esque. You almost have to think in your playoff mind, how am I going to approach this game? Because if you go ahead and start giving up games here and there, those one-run losses are going to be killer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So every single game, I wouldn't say take it as every single game is a playoff game, but have that playoff mindset that, hey, I have to get these guys ready. Like for David Ross, I have to get these guys ready, to compete if we get to the playoffs. If our record is good enough to get to the playoffs, I have to have them mentally prepared to compete. And I got to see who has the stuff. Who in the bullpen can I trust?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who in this lineup? And I know he's very familiar with this lineup, having played in it. But who's going to be the guy this time around to get the big knock? You know what I mean? When the game's on the line, who are you going to rely upon as the season progresses?
That's right. I totally agree. Hey, Shawn, I was just trying to get your feedback just on how you like the pitching performance from Cal Hendricks to come out with a bang that way.
Dude, I tell you, there's nothing doesn't surprise me from Kyle Hendricks, right? you know, when you start Game 7 of the World Series on the road, right? There's no bigger game for a pitcher. There's none. Okay, there's no, and so for opening day, I think he deserved it. I think he came out locked. He was dialed in. That dude was dealing against the vaunted Milwaukee team, a team that many people figure to win the Central, the NL Central, and he shut him down. You know, I know I need some Public Enemy in the back. Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down. And that's what he did all day on Friday. And that was just amazing. And you know what? The thing I love about Kyle Hendricks is that when he comes off the mound after an inning, you don't know if he's up 5, he's down 5, he's tied. His demeanor is exactly the same. He goes about it in a very business-like manner, extremely similar. I mean, you can understand why the comparisons to Bulldog Greg Maddux are aplenty, because this guy goes in, he nibbles, he hits the corners, he hits the spots, he changes speeds, he moves you, he gets your eyes moving in the strike zone, up, down, in, and out. And this guy is more than deserving of getting that opening day, getting the ball opening day, and he showed exactly why he got the ball opening day. Right.
Real quick, I like that baby bar that what's it you call him, Baby Bull for Wilson Contreras?
Baby Bull, yeah, Wilson Contreras.
Man, that's a perfect nickname, Baby Bull.
Yeah, he's definitely a baby bull. Like I said, he's always ready to go. He always got steam blowing out of his nose, and he's a gamer. You know, even though he's learned how to calm his temperament a little bit, because I know when he first started, Joe Madden just told him, just be a little cool behind the plate. You know, we don't need a reaction on every play, but we don't want you to lose that compassion and that fire, which makes you the player that you are, pretty much.
Right, and you know, like a few times you saw it over the years that he'd get a little, he'd be 120 when everybody's at 100. You know what I mean? Like he'd be a little too much. And you'd see some errors, you know, some overthrows. Sometimes even his like check throws down to first. They're at 100 miles an hour. He's like shotgunning it over to Rizzo, and Rizzo's like, "What the?" He's like, "Dude, I've seen the guy. Dude, what are you doing?"
Right.
Like right here, it's like if you want to keep him honest, just keep him honest. Just don't try to kill me in the process.
Calm it down. That's all he's saying. Just calm down. Just like Magic used to do when he was running the offense. He'd say, "Look, I'm going to call this play, but I want y'all to calm down. Magic got this. Magic got you, baby."
Well, listen, the next top of the morning topics, my White Sox. Oh, man. Rough weekend for my White Sox. White Sox fall. They lose the series 2-1 with an abysmal abysmal 14-2 ass whooping we took yesterday at the hands of the Minnesota Twins. This opening weekend was tough. You know, Lucas Giolito, you know, he was fired. He was a little too fired up. He didn't get any help from Lurie Garcia. And that's the one thing that you need is a defense. And the way Lucas pitched, he should have been out of the inning. The first inning, they got him. The inability to turn that double play in the first led to a big run in the opening day, and he couldn't recover. The one thing that I'll tell you that I loved is that they didn't quit. They came back and they tied it. Okay, 5-5 in the second, and to show that team, for them to be down and say, hey, you know what, this team hit 7,000 home runs last year, we're done. For them to say, hey, listen, we're coming back, we got power too. They put it on display yesterday. They got power too. So even though the Minnesota Twins beat them 2 out of 3, okay, with a 14-2 ass whooping yesterday, Minnesota Twins, they know. They're like, oh, damn, this team, game 1, they came back on us. They tied it. We were just able to extend the lead. Game 2, they blew us out. Okay. In game 3, we blew them out. So, you know, they know what the White Sox are about now. And after opening day, and I'll tell you what, I was very disappointed in the performance of Lucas Giolito. Lucas has got to pitch better. Lucas, if you're going to be an ace of his staff, you have to pitch over mistakes from your defense. Your defense helps you out time after time after time, and when they mess up, you have to be able to pitch over that. He wasn't able to do that on Friday, and he got shelled. Ray Lopez yesterday, he came out, and you can tell after first couple of innings. Well, first of all, he gave up the grand slam in the first, but after second inning, maybe third inning, he didn't have his confidence, and you know, then at that point, it's a moot point, because if you don't have your confidence, I don't care what kind of stuff you got. And Ray's got great stuff. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. He didn't have it. He got shelled. He got rocked, and he stopped attacking hitters. He stopped going after them. And the thing about that is, like, Minnesota, it got off to a horrible start. First pitch, boom, gone. I was a little disappointed with Giolito. I'm like, what these guys do, right? They knock the ball out of the park. First ball, fastball is what you think. Give them. I'm thinking that first pitch. I'm like, I said, throw him a change. That'd be nice. Throw him a change. Throw him a curve, because they're gonna sit first ball, fastball, because they want. These guys are the Twins, and that's the thing you expect. Fastball, first pitch.
That's right.
And he didn't do it. He got it. It was all downhill from there. And so, luckily, Dallas Keuchel came through game 2. Man, he locked them boys down. And I'll tell you what, Dallas Keuchel was. I see now people who didn't understand that move can see why they brought him in, why they signed him. Man, he looked like the Cajun veteran locking this powerful Minnesota Twins team down. And it was great to see that, we know we have a stabilizing force in that rotation in Dallas Keuchel.
Wow. I mean, what a magnificent performance by Dallas Keuchel. Came out like a gamer on Saturday. It seems like that's the type of starters you guys are going to need, especially when you're competing against a rival. It's nothing like playing against a rival, because the rival knows your strengths and your weaknesses. That's one of the things whenever you have to kick off the season playing your vaunted rivals, as we were speaking earlier in the week, just about, just taking care of those games. You guys were still able to win the game, because I know the Twins came in thinking, hey, we're going to sweep these guys. They think they're all of that. But at the end of the day, the White Sox are still able to salvage the series by winning on Saturday, in spite of a disappointing game yesterday. Now, I have to give props when props is due. I know Giolito, he was a little amped up, but I know that's not going to be his game for the rest of the season. He's definitely going to turn around. He's definitely a #1 starter. And then in addition to that, the super prospects and Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, they're on-base machines. They're consistent. And it's just a matter of time. You guys remind us of the 2016 team or the 2015 team when the Cardinals, they was a little cocky against us. And eventually we caught up to them by the end of the season. So I kind of had a feeling that it was going to actually start off like this with the Sox in Minnesota, because you guys are kind of filling each other out. But the real games are going to count when it matters, which is at the end of the season.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So one of the things that you mentioned Luis Robert. Luis Robert had a good series. Yoel Moncada looks like he's poised to be an MVP candidate. The exit velocity and his some of his baseballs was amazing. The one thing that I'm having an issue with, and I said it a lot last year, is Eloy Jimenez. All right, stop being so damn soft. You ran into the wall, and all of a sudden, it's you need an ambulance, you need an airlift, you need this. Like, dude, just grow the hell up. Okay, grow the hell up. He's so damn soft that it bothers me. I love, I love the way he hits. I love his youthful exuberance. But God bless it. Just stop, Sally. Take your dress off and play. You run into the wall. It's a crazy idea. You run into the wall. It happens. Stop being, I have to go. This hurts. That hurts. All right. One of the questions I'd love to see, I'd love answered would be, how do you train in the off season? What kind of resistance training, weight training, what do you do, in the off season? Because running into the wall, come on, and to get taken out opening weekend, come on, man. That's, to me, that's softer than baby poo, man, and that bothers me. And remember, he had 2 stints on the DL last year.
I think Shawn. I think he.
Yeah, I think we got lost on the. But no, I mean he's right. Like there has to be a certain amount of toughness around guys that you're building your team around. There has to be, and especially if you're going to threaten to get into the postseason, there has to be some type of an edge.
That's correct. And like I said, I know he came out of our farm system. So please don't credit that softness to us. But at the end of the day,
that all came when he got traded.
Yeah,
when he got traded, then the softness came. That's what happened.
We don't take credit for that softness, so let's not get into that. But at the end of the day, like I said before, I believe that the series are going to actually count at the end of the season. I know right now Minnesota struck the first punch against the White Sox, and you guys, I think they're going to make their adjustments. Mm-hmm. They're going to get their rotation in order. They're going to find out, okay, we actually got to throw out our playoff lineup against them just to see how we measure up against their top lineups. And one of the things the Cubs did, they always threw their top lineups against the Cardinals so that they can give them no confidence. Okay? Mm-hmm. Don't give them no confidence. We're coming here to beat you. We're no longer playing second fiddle to you in this division. We're here to stay, and we're not going away.
Yeah, sorry about the.
Okay. No, I was just saying that you were.
Birthday, man. It's your birthday. We understand, man.
We were just talking about how we continued on your thought, like how Eloy needs that. Pretty much everybody, not just Eloy. There needs to be a certain amount of there needs to be an edge to the team if they want to go far this season and next season, if for that matter, if into the postseason. There has to be a chip. There has to be some type of toughness, like you were alluding to.
One of the big things. I was livid yesterday when Renteria sat Moncada. He sat him. He said he didn't want him throwing. Listen, you got 60 games. He just came back last week. What in God's name are you protecting him from? Okay, what are you protecting him from is my issue. Okay, he's a third baseman. Okay, if you don't want to put him in, he can't DH. I was really upset with some of the moves Ricky made yesterday over the weekend. My biggest one was James McCann not starting on Friday. When you have Lucas Giolito, who had an amazing year last year, why? Because of his ability, because of the catching ability and the chemistry that he had with James McCann. Why is James McCann not starting? Why is he not his personal pitcher? I understand you signed Yasmani Grandal to a contract in the offseason, a big contract, but listen, it's not about the damn money. It's about winning and getting off on the right foot. And he needs to say, hey, listen, this is his personal catcher. This is the guy he's got good chemistry with. I need him to start. I know we signed you for X amount of millions of dollars, but you have to understand that I need this. We need an opening day win. And this is the guy that gives us the best chance because Lucas feels comfortable with him. It's about on the starting pitcher, you have to acquiesce to every one of their needs on the days that they pitch. And you can't just say, oh, well, because we signed such and such to X amount of millions of dollars, he's going to start. So I was really disappointed with Renteria, and that's the type of stuff that's going to start getting all these chances of fire him and getting Ozzie back. Those are some of the things. Those decisions like that are going to start them. And you know what? I'll be right along chanting with him because you can't continue to do that stupid stuff. This is your best pitcher, okay? This is the catcher he likes to have catch him. Have him in the game. He should be his personal catcher. Every 5 days, James McCann is catching Lucas Giolito. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And he didn't do that to start the season, and that started the season off on the wrong foot. And to me, that is a cause for concern, and that's got me a little fired up, as you can tell.
I can see that, brother. But at the end of the day, like you said, James McCann to Lucas Giolito is like David Ross to John Lester.
Yep.
Whenever they started, nobody else was able to catch that day but those two. That was his personal catcher. And when we signed David Ross, it was for that particular reason. They knew how to do their pitch outs together. It was just they had their unhidden, they had those hidden rules, that hidden communication, that, just being able to communicate non-verbally without giving away your pitches. So that was kind of experimental to throw him out there on the first day. You could have DH'd him, actually, and kept McCann at the catcher position. But at the end of the day, this is why you're making adjustments. This is why those games are going to matter at the end. And like I was telling Ivan, I says, from here on out, you need to be throwing out your playoff lineup, top to bottom. You have to send Minnesota a message. Don't give them any confidence. period. You know, you don't want to give them no confidence. So I think the next series, there's going to be probably a fight. So I'll just be honest, because we had to do this with the Cardinals because they kept bullying us. We didn't like that. And we was like, okay, you're going to throw at us, we're going to throw at you. And not only going to throw at you, we're going to throw at you just because we're not afraid of you.
You know, and another thing is James McCann, statistically, hits Berrios very well. So
Wow.
that was their opening day pitcher. So all of these things fell in line. So why Rick Renteria didn't do that is really bothersome. I agree with you. There's going to have to be a chip on your shoulder. You're going to have to make a statement. And granted, I think the ass whooping that we gave him game 2 was a statement, but there needs to be a little bigger statement made next time we play against the Twins. And, you know, it's about marking your territory. It's about saying, hey, we know you're the champs of the AL Central, but guess what? We're coming. And we need to let them know in no uncertain terms that we're coming. And they did a good job of it this weekend, you know, coming back and tying them the first game and you know, the first couple innings, and then blowing them out game 2. But you needed game 3 for them to that would have been a wake-up call, like, bam, we got you. Now you're on notice. I think they're aware, but the impact by losing game 3 was felt a lot less. And the Sox, they can't afford that. Not with that team. That team needs to know that they're going to be in a fight every single game. And maybe fisticuffs do, you know, come in. And plus, baseball fights they're just a whole bunch of pushing and yelling and screaming.
Right.
Everyone, hold me back.
Right.
Ain't no punches getting thrown. But what that'll do is that'll step up and that'll show the Minnesota Twins that the good guys are for real, and they will take it to the little fake baseball fight, so to speak. To protect or to get what the Minnesota Twins have, and that's the crown of the AL Central.
That's right. Totally agree. The Cubs had to do a little brouhaha with the Brewers. Or is that on Saturday they kept throwing at our guys? You know, we just like, look, y'all already suspected of cheating, so let's not go there, okay? Y'all just came out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden y'all know every pitch that's coming, especially with the biggest cheater of them all, that guy. I'm not going to even mention his name, number 22. And, you know, so at the end of the day, you know, we're coming for the Brewers, and I know you guys are coming for the Twins.
We are, and you know what? It's going to be fun to watch. I want to see how this team develops. I want to see, you know, how both teams develop. It's going to be a fun season. I really want to see how my White Sox. How does Ricky Renteria get him back? How does, you know? Because I know what Ozzie would say. You know, and I hate to do this to Rick Renteria, all right. But right now, like this team, you know, they are primed for Ozzie. They are primed. Ozzie goes in there and says, "Hey, listen, after game 1, all right, today you stunk up the joint. Let's forget about it. We play tomorrow, okay? Or you lost game 3. Look, it's one series, but we got to get back on a winning track. All right, we need to win this next series against Cleveland." And maybe Ricky Renteria is saying the same thing. He very well may be. All right, but you know, Ozzie to me is the guy. These young guys, they need to. And I don't know how Rick Renteria is in the clubhouse. You know, he may be a mean son of a gun, okay, but we all know how Ozzie is in the clubhouse. And I think these kids, these young guys, need a little bit of tough love right about now, and no uncertain terms. They need some tough love. They need some somebody to say, "Hey, listen, don't get caught up in the hype. Don't be reading your press clippings. You guys are talented. Now it needs to show. All right. I don't care who's, you know, Louis Robert. You're not Rookie of the Year yet. Okay, so don't act like it. All right, Yo Moncada, you're not MVP yet. Don't act like it. Go out there and prove every single day. Tim Anderson, you're not the batting champ anymore, but you better go act like you better go get that. And maybe Rick Renteria is talking to them like this, which would be great. But I know I have a very, very strong feeling this is exactly how Ozzie would talk to them. And again, he's got a ring. He's got the respect of the players. And I think that goes a long way. And I would love, again, and Rick Renteria, you keep making stupid decisions and bad decisions like that, man. And I'm gonna be leading that Fire Rick, Hire Ozzie parade.
Billy Martin of the Yankees, you know how Billy Martin was. So they're gonna have to bring Ozzie back like the Yankees brought Billy Martin back with Steinbrenner. You know, just make up, you know, hug, make up. It's all about this ring right now.
It really is, and it's about, you know, their ability to strike when the iron's hot. Like if you see this is what your team needs, okay, and Rick Renteria is not doing it for them, then you got to make a change. Okay, I still believe in Renteria. I just wish opening day he wouldn't have had so many blunders. It makes it more difficult for me to defend him. All right, it makes it a lot more difficult for me to defend him with the James McCann not starting for Lucas Giolito and sitting on Moncada game 3. Just things like that really bother me. And
Shawn,
it's hopefully he makes better decisions as they move on. You don't need a rest. Yohan Moncada is a young bull. I know he just got off of COVID, but he doesn't need a rest. He's not a pitcher. All right, so what are you protecting him from throwing for? He's not going to, you know what I mean? There's no reason for it, and I just think that was a poor move on his part. And we definitely needed him in the lineup. He needed his bat in the lineup the other day.
You know, I want to say one thing before we cut.
Well, listen, guys, we got to take a quick break. We got to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
Quicken Loans presents the Sports Flash, driven by Jeep on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Happ swings, drives one in the air to left field. Pretty well hit. Back goes Yelich. Near the wall. It's got a chance. Gone. Ian Happ, an opposite field home run. And the Cubs have opened up an 8-1 lead here in the 8th inning.
Ian Happ with the 2-run homer to left. Josh Phegley scored the Cubs with a 9-1 rout over the Brewers on Sunday. The Cubs radio network with the call. Tyler Chatwood pitched a 3-hit ball over 6 innings as the Cubs out-hit the Brewers 11-3. 8 strikeouts for Chatwood. Meanwhile, Freddie Peralta, 4 earned runs on 3 hits over 3 innings. He walked 2 and struck out 3. Nelson Cruz homered twice. Kenta Maeda was strong in his debut for the Twins. They routed the White Sox 14-2. 6 strikeouts over 5 innings for Maeda in the win. Blue Emu promises no chill, no burn, no odor, just what you need to soothe tired muscles and joints. The Sports Flash is driven by Jeep. Chuck Sanders, 1330, 95.9 The Zone.
Indeed knows you've got big goals for your business, and we understand hiring is a crucial part of that. You need to hire people who will make a real impact. Indeed can help you find those important hires faster while paying only for what you need without any long-term contracts, thanks to our super flexible payment options. Start finding your important hire today with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high impact. That's Indeed.com/high impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, save that bee. We need him.
Did you know pollinators are more than just honeybees? Did you know 1 in 3 bites of food is made possible by pollinators? That's why Prairie View A&M Cooperative Extension is prepping for pollinators this summer. Identify your backyard pollinators, take photos, and plant the flowers that help them thrive. Visit agnearme.com. That's agnearme.com to download our pollinator prep guide today. Let's get prepping.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And we are back, baby. We are back, and I love it. We're in our first segment, our top of the morning segment. And, you know, we just got done talking a little bit about this opening day weekend. Let's move on. Let's keep it moving. Next top of the morning topic, the Chicago Bears made a huge deal trading tight end Adam Shaheen to the Miami Dolphins for a conditional 6th-round pick. The fact that you got more than a bag of footballs is a win for the Bears. It's a win.
Win-win.
Win.
I would have took some tape.
Man, this dude.
Tape, a couple water bottles, we would have been good. But it's out to the 6th-round pick.
Let me tell you something. Adam Shaheen, and no fault of his own, he didn't ask to get picked as high as he did. Okay, but that was Ryan Pace reaching because of the fact that he traded those 3rd-round picks. So he didn't have a 3rd-round pick a few years ago. So he reached for Adam Shaheen, who would have been there in the 4th round. No one was going after this kid out of Ashland College. No one was going after him. But to reach and go get him is bothersome. So he was unproductive, never had confidence. He was softer than baby poo at times. And I'll tell you what, it was a long time coming that he be shown the exit, and the fact that we got a 6th-round pick man, that's icing on the cake for a guy who wasn't as talented as I don't know, maybe he thought or as the Bears brass thought. To get a 6th round pick for him, I'll take it.
I'll definitely take that any day, especially anything from the Miami Dolphins. Because we hopefully that pick, hopefully that pick turned into something great in the future. But at the end of the day, we need picks. Now, as far as the tight end position, we just drafted a tight end, and in Komet, and hopefully he can slide into that spot, and step up and be more productive than Adam Shaheen. Now, like you were saying, Shawn, it was a reach for Ryan Pace to go after him when he did. But now we can't play those type of games because everybody's on the clock. Ryan Pace is on the clock. Mr. Trubisky's on the clock. The tight ends positions coach is on the clock. The whole personnel's on the clock. The whole city's on the clock. So we can play games. You see what I mean? We're trying to win. Let's win now. We got a window opportunity to do it. Let's do it. Everybody's on the clock.
Yeah, I'm just glad it's done. It's done. You're dwindling down the numbers in that tight end room. You're finding the guys that you want to be there, and you're getting rid of the dead weight, if you will. I mean, you have to drop the roster down to 80 anyway. You know what I mean? So if a guy like Adam Shaheen is there, and he's you haven't gotten what you want out of him, just tell him to kick rocks.
And it's nothing personal against Adam Shaheen. He just couldn't find his rhythm. He couldn't find, when you're a big fish in a small pond and you're running over these little 170-pound, 180-pound DBs, okay, because you're the big man on the block. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden you get to the NFL and you got guys who are 210, 215 who will knock the snot out of you and knock you in the next week. They did. He was injury prone. He was another soft one. He always seemed to have a nagging injury about him. He just couldn't get on track with the Bears, and it was dead weight. He was dead weight. Bottom line, he was dead weight. He wasn't productive. He took, he had to go. It's another. So for the Tariq Cohens, the great picks you get in the 4th round, for Ryan Pace. Now you got the Adam Shaheen, the Kevin White. He's had a couple of bad picks higher up in the draft, as opposed to the gems that he's found later in the draft. Those kind of balance out now because you just can't continue to miss on 1st and 2nd round picks. You just cannot. And Ryan Pace has missed on the majority of his 1st round picks to date, and that's not going to keep. You better, everybody else that you pick better be a Pro Bowler, and he lucked out with Tariq Cohen as a Pro Bowl returner in the 4th round. With Eddie Jackson as a Pro Bowler, he lucked out there, which bought him some time. But you can't depend on your scouting staff to get all pros in the 4th and 5th round, 6th round. You just can't depend on it. You got to hit those 1st and 2nd round picks. You got to knock that out of the park, and he hasn't done that yet to this point.
Do either of you guys believe that if he were with Cole Kmet and Jalen Johnson, he goes ahead because of how some GMs rank them? They could have been 1st round talents, easy. Both of them could have been easily in the 1st round, taken in the 1st round. If he hits on both of them, 2 first rounders in the 2nd round because of his blunder, he had to go make up for what he I mean, what was it? Last year was Khalil Mack, wasn't it? Was it now? Was that the year? Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm good. I'm good with having Khalil. No, I'm talking about the draft pick that they traded away. That went to Oakland. So, but getting back to it, my point. If he's able to hit on these 2 guys, these 2, potential 1st rounders, is everything all good? Is everything okay? Can we turn the heat down, on Ryan Pace? Does he make up for what some of the blunders that he's had before if he hits on Kmet and Jalen Johnson?
Well, with Ryan Pace, he has had a large margin of error, which most managers don't get in the NFL. Like I said, a lot of people aren't allowed to fail at their job for those many years and still be rewarded. I've seen that happen in a few places, where, people get rewarded for failure, and that's not a good thing. The Bears have to reverse this narrative, and we no longer we can't accept average products on the field. Like, we're the third largest market. We haven't won a Super Bowl since 1985. So we can't keep living on the memories of the Super Bowl shuffle. Eventually, we're gonna have to get past that. We have to become a high flying offense and an elite defense. And until we meet those two, we'll continue to talk about this. Our common failures that we continue to produce on a weekly basis.
Perfectly said.
I don't think it gets them off the hook. It's if these guys do pan out, which I'm hoping they do, it's going to be like it's about damn time.
Yep.
Okay, it's about damn time, because you know what, this is the second time that he's taken a it depends on how well Cole Kmet plays, but he's taken a NFL ready player. Okay, he drafted Kevin White. He was a project. He was raw. He needed to be developed and turned. Then he got Leonard Floyd, another guy who's raw. I mean, both of those two number one picks are not even on the team anymore. Then he got Mitch Trubisky, who's raw, and so he's done. When he should have been Deshaun Watson, but don't get me started. Okay, and the only guy that I think really did a good job was Roquan Smith. I think that was a great pick. That was a no-brainer. But I guess you can't say no-brainers, because Trubisky, I thought Deshaun Watson was a no-brainer, but apparently not. So, Ryan Pace, if these two guys do pan out, I think the heat will be turned down a little, Ivan, but it's still hot as hell in there. The heat is still hot. It's going like from 250 or 300 to like 275 in the oven. It's no, you see it, but it's still damn hot, and it should be. All right, it should be, because and we need to see what moves he makes. We need to see, next year's draft. We need to see how he handles his team, and we're not going to hear a lot from Ryan Pace because he doesn't talk a lot during the season. Unless something big happens or something needs to be addressed. So we're gonna have to hear from him, because the heat's on. It's gonna be on, and it should be on. And I need him to. Just like we need the team to play better, we need him to be better. We need him to make better decisions when it comes to this personnel of this team, because we're in a window right now with a defense that is second to none, and we have to take advantage of it. We can't continue to sing the Super Bowl shuffle like you mentioned, Joseph. It's a great song, but damn, that's 30-some years ago.
Man, Shawn, doesn't that whenever you see the Bears like on a run and they go marching out the 85 Bears and the Super Bowl shuffle and all the stations are replaying it over and over and over because that's the only thing we have to hold on to right now. Yep. Don't you feel like the 72 Dolphins when they march out there every single, like, isn't it old? Isn't it old and tired? Like, aren't you done? Like, I'm done with, like, I've enjoyed it. I enjoy it. You lived it. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it no more. I want their own identity. Like Joseph was talking about, you got to discover your own identity. You have to be your own team. And if they keep going ahead and comparing them to the 85 team, neither team, it does neither team any justice.
Right. You can't compare the Cubs to the 1908 Cubs, the 1916,
right.
1916 Cubs to the 1908 Cubs, or the 1907 White Sox to the 2005 White Sox. What I'm saying is that these teams have their own identity. They have to establish their own identity, and at the end of the day, that's what it's about. You have to build your own brand.
You do, and I'm with you, with Ivan. It is tired. It is embarrassing. You have other franchises who've won, multiple Super Bowls in the same time frame that since '85, and there are multiple, and for us being a charter franchise and not to get back to the Super Bowl once, okay, with the defense that we had, which was great, to only get there once, it's frustrating. It's embarrassing.
Damn Rex in his little hands.
Damn Kelvin Hayden, Chicago's very own Kelvin Hayden, picking him off and taking it back.
The Rexes.
I'm friends with Kelvin Hayden, so we so we were at a Cubs Sox outing, and it's funny. He's just he's a Chicago kid, from Hubbard High School, and I actually coached against him in track. One of my kids was a track star. It was an indoor meet. It was a 60 meters, and he just blew my kid out of the water. My kid was fast, but he wasn't Kelvin Hayden fast, so that's crazy. But that we can't continue to live in the past. We can't continue to do that. We got to move forward. This team needs their own identity. I feel bad for the Lovie Smith team that went to the Super Bowl. They had an identity in the defense, just like this team is predicated on defense. But I think this offense is a little better, minus the run game. Because remember, we had Thomas Jones, and man, I love me some Thomas Jones, man. Love me.
Shawn, I got a little bit of breaking news. The Yankees-Phillies game was postponed.
Yeah, I was just about to break that next.
Oh, my bad. It came up, I was like, wow, another one.
Yeah. The next top of the morning topic that we got, you heard it from my Puerto Rico sister, Army Knife himself. In addition to the Orioles-Marlins game, which just got canceled due to multiple positive COVID tests, the Yankees game got canceled as well. So this is the issue. This is the thing that I was really concerned about with the restart. What happens if there are multiple players who get sick? I know you have a taxi squad, but are people going to play or pay money, or are people going to start watching these games on TV if you're getting taxi squad guys playing as opposed to the big names? We're excited about having sports back, but we want to see the young Giancarlo Stanton, the Aaron Judges, the Bryce Harpers, the Manny Machados, all these big names. We want to see them play. And when there's a situation like this that's breaking out and games have to be canceled, you have to wonder. And this is a question that I had, before this started: will the season even be able to finish?
Right. And that's correct, Shawn. As we spoke on this 2 weeks ago, just about the possibility of watching your star players going down, and then have to replace them with, triple A, double A, single A players, or just bench players that aren't as productive as your everyday starter. So what people pay for, even on cable, on TV, they want to see the stars. And once you start seeing the stars going down, especially the big name teams, the league is in trouble, especially someone like the Yankees, the Phillies. These are the original squads of the MLB.
Yeah, that East Coast bias is what it is, because there's such big markets on the East Coast, and if you have players who are less than your star players playing, it's definitely going to affect ratings because people aren't going to watch. It affects money. Advertisers won't have to pay as much. Stations can't charge as much for advertising because people aren't watching. And let's keep it real. What about people dying? You just don't want any. You hope no one dies. Because of this situation. And at this point, it's sports again becomes a far, far, far secondary topic.
And that's why the NBA has LeBron in his own building in Disney World. That's why LeBron's isolated from everybody. I mean, it's all seriousness. In all seriousness, that's why he's isolated. You got to protect your brand. You got to protect your number one. All jokes aside, like, it's funny. It really is. But they got everybody else living together. And LeBron's got his own mansion out in Disney. He's living in the castle. He's living in Cinderella's castle.
He's got his own bubble.
Yeah, he's in his own bubble.
Like Michael Jackson.
Right. But you got to protect your brand. And I think I've seen something like 11 Marlins test positive. Like, how does that happen? That's
so now they're gone for 2 weeks minimum.
Yeah.
And now you got to bring in all your replacement, your taxi squad players, and I didn't think the Marlins were going to be able to make some noise this year at all. I think they're still horrible, but still, to not have your top guns out there, and your top guns weren't very strong to begin with, it just makes it even worse. Derek Jeter's having a rough time down there in Miami, and I just hope it gets better soon for the Marlins, because they're just.
I feel like the Marlins might have to move.
Yeah, I agree. They probably have to play in another stadium. They probably have to
play another stadium. They're not drawing anything, and this doesn't help. Like, this doesn't help that 11 of your players test positive for COVID-19. Like, that means you're not doing something right as an organization to keep your players healthy. But on top of that, the product on the field hasn't been there.
Right.
You can't keep winning one World Series every 20 years and expect people to, to be like, all right, we're good. Like, and rebuild within those 20 years. You're rebuilding within those 20 years. It's not like you're having some success, in between titles. You're in a wasteland.
Right. Totally agree.
Yeah, so it's and you talked about the Yankees. What there's concerns. For what I read was that there were concerns that it was postponed. It didn't talk about if anyone in the Yankees Phillies game had contracted the virus. They just said it was canceled as a precautionary measure. So hopefully no one on the Yankees or Phillies has it, because if they do, that's a whole nother ballgame.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, again, we talked about the East Coast bias, but there's just a lot of major markets on the East Coast, and you get some of their players hurt or
right.
Yeah, I mean, you get some of the players hurt, and then all of a sudden, your team's lost. 11 players, just like we know the Marlins aren't in contention, but 11. Imagine if it were the White Sox, the Cubs. You're done. You're done. 11 players that you brought up with the starting 30 on the starting 30. Come on, that's it, man.
And then you got to bring back the guys you just cut from spring training who still got a chip on their shoulder. Who said they want to actually play? They're still ticked off with the organization because they probably believe that they had a chance at a roster spot, and now they're being called back for opportunity, and now they have the leverage like, hey, even though I'm going to get paid, but I don't want to catch COVID-19.
Right.
They can be petty like that, but not caring about COVID-19, they could just be petty. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, thank you. I think I want to stay where I'm at with my family. You see what I mean? So it's giving players more leverage each day. The more these positive tests come out, because it takes a lot of the power out of the owner's hands, because the players are now able to make decisions on their own and say, hey, I don't think it's safe for me and my family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm concerned. This is the biggest concern we had.
Shawn, I was saying, you're pretty much, if you lose, like let's say the Sox lost 11 guys, that's it. It's a wrap.
Yep. Again, and luckily, I shouldn't say luckily. It wasn't going to be a situation where the Marlins were contending for anything, because if it was a situation where it's one of the top teams, it's the Dodgers, if it's the Twins, if it's the Yankees, okay, and they lost 11 people, wow, did that change the landscape of this season? That changes the outlook of the season. But since it's not, it's a much lesser team. Of course, we're still concerned about their health, but it's not going to make an impact on that team the way it would another team that we anticipate is going to be in the playoffs. So it's still unfortunate, and it's still scary, and it's really it has me concerned big time, because I don't know if this season is going to be able to be finished, if it's going to be completed, and we're going to have to wait and see, because I'm leery about it, because if this happens once, now we know it can happen again and again and again. And what if a couple other teams get 4 or 5 or 6 guys with positive tests? Now we're screwed, because they got to sit out 2 weeks. It's a scary thing for me.
I feel like it's part of the mistake that the MLB had, the handful of mistakes that they've had so far. Mm-hmm. They didn't go ahead and limit the amount, like just like the NBA. I'm not talking about keeping them on one enclosed area, but at least keep them isolated to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Are these guys going back home? Are these guys living their regular life and then coming to the ballpark? You know what I mean? And you're transferring cities. You're going to different cities. Why didn't we limit the amount of travel? Why didn't you condense the amount of travel? Why couldn't you find a way? I mean, there has to be, obviously, if the 11 players got hurt, so either the personnel, either the players went ahead and did something off on their own that wasn't a part of what they should have been doing, or there's just like a neglect of testing down in Miami.
Well, first of all, they did reduce that, which is why they have those crazy conferences. Okay, why the White Sox aren't going to California or Texas or Florida. All right, they're staying in the Midwest. So they did restrict the travel to the teams by geography. All right, so that's a big thing. Miami has been blowing up with Florida. Has been one of the hot states. It's one of the hot states. Why? Because people were down there having a little spring break and just not giving a damn and thinking the virus was over. And look at all the cases they have, and the people who were in Miami, they took the virus somewhere wherever they were going, and it just kept numbers are growing in Florida by the day. So it's a tough call, man. It's a tough call, and when you have to make a decision, it's got to be on the side of you err on the side of caution, because you don't want people dying from this thing any more than already have. And again, I'm really concerned. I don't want a baseball player or an NBA player or any other player to pass away from this thing, because now the league's in a tough position. Why were you still playing? What were the protocols? We heard Chris Bryant talk about the inaccuracy of the testing. Remember, it took him over a week. You knew July 4th, what day it fell on a Saturday. Make sure you have the testing before. Make sure you have the testing after. Not every week. Results. Yeah. So, baseball players are not in a bubble. They're going home to their family and their friends. They're, and then coming back to the ballpark. So they're living kind of a dangerous life right now, not being in a bubble, not being quarantined. So we'll see. Well, listen, hey, we got to take a quick break. Hey, Joseph, thank you, Papa, for joining us, man. I appreciate it. I need you to bring your people on so we can say what's up.
Hey, guys. All right, guys. I just want to appreciate you guys for just allowing me to do this. So coming out is my wife. This is Cassidy.
Hi.
And she's
Cassidy.
Got married on July 4th. That's my son, Zion Joseph Phillips. He's in the background enjoying.
Hi, how you doing, big dog?
And we just out here enjoying ourselves in the Smoky Mountains today.
Great stuff. Hey, great stuff, man. And that view was amazing. Amazing. Oh my goodness. So
all right.
Hope you guys enjoy yourself.
Get some rest.
I'll get some later.
All right.
All right, now take care.
Take care.
We'll see you on Wednesday. Guys, that was Joseph Phillips. He joins us every day from the Chicago Crusader. We're partnered with them. And our top of the morning segment is sponsored by the Chicago Crusader and Joseph Phillips. Great stuff, man. Dude, that view was amazing, huh?
Awesome. Because we came on earlier, a little maybe 30 minutes before showtime. Joseph was already in the studio, ready to go, and I was like, "Man, where are you, dude?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm in the cabin." I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, that's what it looked. It looked exactly like a cabin. And then he goes and he starts turning the camera. I'm like, whoa! I'm like, where are you right now, dude? It was beautiful.
Yeah, gorgeous. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, my man's going to join us. He's going to finish. Going to co-host with me for the second half of the show. Kenneth Davis, and our guest is coming on, Casey Boguslaw. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
Quicken Loans presents the Sports Flash, driven by Jeep on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
App swings, drives one in the air to left field, pretty well hit. Back goes Yelich near the wall. It's got a chance. Gone. Ian Happ, an opposite field home run. And the Cubs have opened up an 8-1 lead here in the 8th inning.
Ian Happ with the 2-run homer to left. Josh Phegley scored the Cubs with a 9-1 rout over the Brewers on Sunday. Cubs Radio Network with the call. Tyler Chatwood pitched a 3-hit ball over 6 innings as the Cubs out-hit the Brewers 11-3. 8 strikeouts for Chatwood. Meanwhile, Freddie Peralta, 4 earned runs on 3 hits over 3 innings. He walked 2 and struck out 3. Nelson Cruz homered twice. Kenta Maeda was strong in his debut for the Twins. They routed the White Sox 14-2. 6 strikeouts over 5 innings for Maeda in the win. Blue Emu promises no chill, no burn, no odor, just what you need to soothe tired muscles and joints. The Sports Flash is driven by Jeep. Chuck Sanders, 1330, 95.9 The Zone.
Indeed knows you've got big goals for your business, and we understand hiring is a crucial part of that. You need to hire people who will make a real impact. Indeed can help you find those important hires faster while paying only for what you need without any long-term contracts, thanks to our super flexible payment options. Start finding your important hire today with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high impact. That's Indeed.com/high impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, save that bee. We need him.
Did you know pollinators are more than just honeybees? Did you know 1 in 3 bites of food is made possible by pollinators? That's why Prairie View A&M Cooperative Extension is prepping for pollinators this summer. Identify your backyard pollinators, take photos, and plant the flowers that help them thrive. Visit agnearme.com. That's agnearme.com to download our pollinator prep guide today. Let's get prepping.
Welcome back to Shawn in the Morning on SportsZone Chicago. We're going to go ahead and bring in a co-host for the next next hour, Kenneth Davis. Ken, what's up, Ken? How you doing?
What's going on, Ivan? How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. Sean's computer's on the fritz again, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce you. And how you doing? Good?
See, that's how we have to do. We can't be one, right? We can't just be – I can't be happy that the Cubs are doing well, that Tyler Chatwood threw a gem. Looking at how Cal Hendricks was on opening day. No, I can't be happy with that. You want to come at my throat, right? You want to come just at my neck, right? Like, well, how the White Sox doing? Listen, look, I'm not doing well. I mean, because as a Sox guy, I'll take this back to 2 years ago. This is when Lucas Giolito looked like, oh man, they got us, and they got us, and we're talking about Adam Eaton, so it's not like. It's not like they got King Griffey Jr. in his prime out of us, but it's like they got us. And it was like, but you know what? Ronaldo Lopez, this kid, man, he has some stuff, right? Like, he got some stuff on him. And then last year, it was the flip where, Giolito took it to a whole nother level, further than we expected. But it was Lopez that fell. And to just come out there and just poop his pants, I hate to say that. And, man, it's not good. Again, they got pitching. But I'm to the point, and it's a small sample size, but it's like, all right, you know what? We're not gonna hit on everybody, right? And if he's the one where it's like, all right, but the rest of these guys are substantial, I'll take that L. I hope for himself, what I'm saying, even if he doesn't find it here, and I'm not saying he's leaving anytime soon. If he doesn't find it here, I hope he finds it someplace else. But when you look at that, hopefully, out of the two pitchers, out of Lucas Giolito and Ronaldo Lopez, because you're looking at Lucas Giolito as being a front-end starter. So hopefully Lucas Giolito gets back on track to where he was the first half of last season. And, at least we got Dallas Keuchel in there to kind of be the stopper. Like in the past, when's the last time the Sox have really had a stopper? I guess maybe you didn't need one when your team was bad, but you still do. Right? It's just like we're stuck and we're trying to suck anyway. So it wasn't a good weekend. I'm happy they got one from the Twins. But and this I think is another thing being a Sox fan, depending on how long you've been a Sox fan, man, it's the Twins. Like it's some teams you don't really care about. Like growing up with the Bulls, the Pistons don't bother me anymore. It was the Knicks that I wanted the curse to last forever. Now it wouldn't bother me like if the Knicks won the NBA title, but the Knicks, because the Bulls had got past the Pistons. It was that Knicks team, but like for here, applying that to baseball. You had the crosstown rivalry with the Cubs, but the team that's like always been stepping on our throats and impeding the White Sox has been the Twins. So for them to have hit so many home runs and this team to be built to try to chase them down, it doesn't seem like we're going to be able to chase them down. Even though there's more playoff slots, but you still want to be the king of your division. You want to be on top of your division. You know what I'm saying? That's where now it's early, and we know that. It's super early with this White Sox thing. And we saw the news is breaking with the Marlins. Man, they about to shut all this stuff down in a minute. You better enjoy. Listen, while you talking about the Sox and the Cubs, you better enjoy this week of baseball while you got it.
It might be, man. I'm telling you, it's a scary thing, man. And glad to have you on, buddy. I appreciate you joining me the last hour of the show today. And it was a rough one, bro. It was a rough one. This first ball fastball by Lucas, and truth be told, that wasn't a bad pitch. My man pulled his hands in and turned on it. I was like, damn. I thought it was right over the plate. When I saw the replay and he pulled his hands in, I'm like, dude, these teams, like, all right, what are they doing to cheat? What are they doing to cheat? Because they're just knocking balls all over the place, all out of the ballpark. And I love the fight. Coming back and tying it. Yoan Moncada, he's like, hey, homie, I'm gonna be a MVP candidate real soon, man. I'm loving Yoan Moncada, let me tell you. And their ability to tie it up in that first game, their ability to blow them out in the second game. I like what I see. I see a lot of fight from these young guys that I love. They just got to get more consistent with the pitching. Ray Lopez pitched like crap. Lucas Giolito. And I said it earlier, if you're going to be our ace, you're going to be our number one, you're going to be the guy that they give the ball to opening day, you have to be able to pitch over some mistakes. Lurie Garcia had a couple of bad plays in the field. The botched double play, the botched turn on the double play, which would have ended the inning much sooner than it did. Lucas has got to be able to pitch over that. And then it's tough. It's tough when you hit a team that had when you do that against a team that hit 300 plus home runs the year before. You can't extend innings. And Lurie tried to make up for it the next day with the 2 homers. But man, it still didn't take away the sting from the first one, because if you had done that, it could have been a different outcome. And remember, we talked about just winning series. I don't need a 15-game winning streak. I need series, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, and those numbers jump up quickly. And all of a sudden, you're sitting atop the AL Central. But apparently, it seems like the Twins aren't going anywhere. It seems like as of right now, they are the team to beat, and that sucks. So we got to step our game up. We got to step our game up. Our pitching, especially, has got to step their game up. So
second place, here we come.
Yeah.
Listen, let me ask you this, Shawn. You brought up the first game and tying it. When they tied it and it was 5-5, in your heart of hearts, didn't you still know it was a wrap?
I thought I was, I'm a homer, and I'm a Meathead White Sox fan. So I'm like, yeah. I said, here we go. You thought you had it, and I thought we were gonna go on a tear, and I thought we were gonna extend the lead and go with it, and we didn't. And that
didn't. That had White Sox written all over it. It was like, oh man. Listen, as soon as it was tied 5-5, I swear I was like, yeah, it's gonna be about probably at least 12 runs, at least 13 runs in this game, right? No, actually 15. I was like, it's gonna be about 15, because I was like, this is 5-5 is early, and they jumped out like that. And it's like, when you're getting bludgeoned like that, it's like the bleeding's probably not gonna stop. That's how. And again, I'm being a homer too, in a bad way. Where it's like, I'm just the history of it. And again, looking at it where you knew Lucas didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, he's probably not, it's not going to probably click this game. Hopefully, like you said, series. Now I'll give you, you can lose one series out of 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you that. And hopefully you don't get swept. Hopefully you at least take a win out of that series, so you're not really falling back if you don't have the lead in the division. So that's definitely what I'm looking forward to moving forward. But man, that this weekend, it wasn't good. And then, Ivan's pulling out knives as soon as I jump in here. And again, he should be happy. Listen, I mean, if you look at on the other side of town with the Cubs, and this is the thing, this is a year where you steal a title, right? And there's nothing better than your team stealing a title, right? Where, were we supposed to win this year? On the books, maybe not. We definitely have enough talent to do it, but we weren't going into this year the odds-on favorites, and we jacked it. And because they've won a title within the last 5 years, it helps validate if they win it this year. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like, hey, this is a team that, was in NLS 4 years in a row, basically. You know what I'm saying? So listen, it's bad. The sun is shining on the north side. It's gloomy. It's actually gloomy out on the south side right now. Yeah, so Ivan, you go ahead, and I take my cap off to you, and you do your little victory lap right now. You should have a good time. But yeah, man, it's looking at it. Definitely, the only great thing to say. Well, no, there were 2 great things. The offense. It's funny. The funny things too, and I know this happened last year with the Cubs, where the offense was really working, and then it sputtered out again. Man, what if the changes is as far as switching out the managers and perhaps how the front office wants to go at it, implementing how they want these players to necessarily attack the ball? Man, what if they can continue to get as many runs? And now come to the south side with the hitting. I mean, we haven't been able. We were the dead last with 5-run innings with 8 last year, and at least you have firepower now that if people are pulling out pistols, you're pulling out pistols too. But we're gonna need more consistency and just not necessarily big innings. You know what I'm saying? That also means situational hitting and stuff like that. But also to really use for situational hitting to really help and benefit you, you need good pitching. Because if you're getting your ass kicked, situational hitting doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Situational hitting is for close games. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, we're not hitting the home, we just get on base, we're gonna get your ass in, right? You need good base running and stuff like that. So it's a small sample size, and I want to really focus on it being a small sample size. But with the fact that you have the Phillies game with the Yankees being postponed and the Orioles game being postponed, dude, it's like, dude, what's going to happen? Because clearly that's just not going to be the first team where this happens. And let me ask you this, Shawn. I should just be happy if I get a little baseball than no baseball, right? I mean, that's what, like, because what if that's what happens? Then we get a month of baseball, right? A month of baseball is better than no baseball, but then I guess you still have to factor in the people that are risking something happening to them, and that's not the players. It's also people that help trainers and stuff like that. So it's funny because I'm kind of looking at it right now and saying, like, how far can the MLB go to where people are being like, you know what, these guys are essential workers. It's not that serious. Now they get paid and they're in their union have agreed to this, but I'm right now I'm living a very conflicted life.
It is. It's crazy, because that's one of the things that we talked about last week. Is that I didn't think that this season was going to be finished. Mm-hmm. They were going to get completed, and we have we have 2 cases already today, 2 games canceled. What are there? How many more games are going to be canceled? Luckily, it was the Marlins, the first one, so it's not a team that you're expected to make any real noise in the playoffs. But what if it happens? What if someone in the Yankees? What if 11 guys in the Yankees get it, or the Phillies?
Right.
Someone a big a team that has
the Dodgers
aspirations this year. It totally changes the landscape of it. So we're going to talk to. We're bringing on a guy right here who is a good friend of the program, and we're going to talk a little more about baseball, because that is his shtick. It's right down his wheelhouse. Man, he's a good friend of the program. He works for the Future Sox. Writes for the Future Sox. You can find him on Twitter at Casey Boguslaw. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and Maya. Casey Boguslaw. Casey, what's up, Papa? How are you? Good to have you back.
Hey, Shawn. How you doing? Happy birthday, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Look at the hat. We got our Sox gear on. I love it.
For sure. Still got to represent, even though it was a rough weekend. Still got to wear it strong.
Talk to me about, okay, I was livid. I was freaking livid. Okay, why the freak is McCann not catching Giolito? Okay, you had a guy who was a Cy Young conversation a year ago with this catcher. Why is he not his personal catcher? I don't give a damn how much you sign Yasmani Grandal for. You say, listen, we're here to win. Okay, and this is his personal catcher. He feels comfortable with him. All right, I know it's opening day. You're starting tomorrow. Why? Can you explain to me? Do you have any idea why Rick Renteria did not put McCann, who actually hits Barrios pretty well, why he didn't have him opening day and he had Grandal out there?
Well, I'm sure we'll be bringing up a lot of Rick Renteria's decisions over the weekend. And I think it has to do a lot with the pomp and circumstances. He was the big free agent signing. I think that, not that it really should matter what social media says for managers' decisions, but, if Grandal wasn't starting that first day on opening day, fans would probably be livid for other reasons. So, damned if he does, damned if he didn't. No, but I agree with you. McCann was clearly his personal catcher all season last year. A great season, Cy Young vote worthy season for Lucas Giolito. It'll be really interesting to see if that's not corrected his next time out. Which I would think would happen. You bring back bad memories of just White Sox really not giving too much of a care about personal catchers, because the White Sox sent Tyler Flowers back in when he was Chris Sale's personal catcher, and it didn't give much of a care about that for the pride and joy of the team. So maybe they just don't really take that much into account. But we'll see next time Lucas is out.
One of the other thing that really got to me was Yoan Moncada being out of the lineup yesterday. What in God's name are you doing? He wanted to protect. He didn't want him to throw too much. I'm like, he's not a pitcher. He's not giving you 75 pitches. Okay, he's a third baseman. All right, he just came back last week. He should be fine. These are the decisions that have Sox fans clamoring for Ozzie. Fire him. I know that would suck. And he would never ever want to step foot in Chicago again if that happened on the south side. What happened to him on the north side? But man, it's got everybody clamoring for Ozzie. Like, look, get Ozzie back here. Like, it's 2 games into the season. How does somebody need a break? Why? What are you protecting some a stud athlete for? I know he just got over COVID, but he's fine at this particular point. Why are you protecting him? Why is this guy not in the lineup? And you saw what he did the first couple of games. Yoel Moncada is ready to make his come out party and say, "Hey, listen, I'm going to be an MVP candidate on a yearly basis. Get you ready for me."
Sure. And, the big thing, with all of Renteria's decisions is that this is a 60-game season. Every single game counts. The number that was thrown out, Jason Stark threw it out in the Athletic article, every game is 2.7 times more important in a 60-game schedule than it is 162. I'm already busting out the numbers early here, but that's the crux of all of this, is that every game is almost 3 times as important as it was. So every game is basically a series. So when you sit your stud player who's absolutely hitting the crap out of the ball in the first 2 games, you do have to question it a little bit. Yeah, there are some health precautions. Of course, you mentioned the COVID. This is a guy that has had hamstring injuries, last couple seasons, almost 100-degree heat yesterday on the south side. It seemed like Renteria said that he was going to give him a day off on one of the games. I think when they lost the opener, he was like, well, I'm not going to do it game 2. They win game 2. Okay, maybe I'm going to take my opportunity to do it in game 3. Everything can be, I guess, seen differently in hindsight. We might get rained out tonight for the White Sox, so that could have been an off day already just built in by Mother Nature. The Sox are off on Thursday as well. There's another off day. Maybe some of that gets moved around with the weather delay and postponements or whatever, but some of that stuff just kind of sorts itself out. In a 60-game season, you do kind of just got to put your best lineup in. I think that's what Renteria did not do really at all. We could talk about the magical thing that, maybe the best lineup is not even in the clubhouse right now. One of their best second baseman is playing at Boomer Stadium over in Schaumburg right now. But Nicky Delmonico playing right field, I don't understand that at all. All 3 days, he's not the best right fielder even in Boomer Stadium, so I don't know. It did not seem like they put the best lineup on the field any of the 3 games really, and a lot of has to be questioned about what not only what both Ricks are doing, what Renteria and then what Hana's doing as well.
Real quick, because I got to push back, Shawn, with you, and when you're talking about what's going on with Moncada. COVID isn't that easy. You know what I'm saying? So and if he is as important as we all believe he is, you do want to protect him. And as Casey was just mentioning with the hamstring injuries, dude, and how hot it was yesterday, you know what? I'm cool with giving him a day. The Nicky Delmonico thing, now that's something to be on Ricky Renteria's ass about. All right. Again, now it's so easy when we're talking about Nick Magical with what Lurie did in the first game, you know what I'm saying? But then you compare it to the second game, but still, I think we all think Nick Magical should still be there. And I'm not even sure if the kid's like ready. It did seem a little bit during exhibition time that he was pushing a little bit, but you could still say that if he's playing, he can kind of get over it. But I'm not mad at Renteria. None of us, I don't think, are like, well, Renteria is the guy. It's kind of like beating up a dead horse. The Ozzie thing, though, I want you to expound on that a little bit later about the Ozzie part. I guess actually, Casey, I should ask you that. Let me ask you this question: If and when the White Sox do turn over this team especially as talented it is, to another manager, do you think they would go back to the past with Ozzie? And of course, Ozzie has grown, and not to say he wasn't a grown man initially. And we have the situation stuff that happened with the Marlins, with kind of Ozzie being Ozzie. And then sometimes Ozzie was doing it to take away, to distract from the team and what was going on the field and kind of put it all on him. But it doesn't seem like in this culture now that necessarily would be the guy that maybe you want for this team. Now, am I incorrect? Or do you think they would bring Ozzie back into the fold if and when they get rid of Ricky Renteria?
I would find it hard to believe. I'd be surprised if they brought Ozzie back. I guess that's the easiest way of saying it. Just because part of it is the bad blood that broke up. That broke them up. Ozzie was traded away technically when they cut ties with him. Obviously he's back with the team and a lot. He's on the postgame show every day, so clearly he's trying to get back in the organization one way or another. Now, will that lead to a managerial position? It'd be surprising, I guess. Maybe what would lower the surprise is if Renteria was fired during this season and it's such a crunch. We're in a 60-game schedule. There's no time off. Right. They just have to bring somebody in. It wouldn't be Coop. It wouldn't be, McEwing. It could be somebody like Ozzie just because he's so close to the organization right now. But if this goes bad and, with the 16 teams making the playoffs this season, if the White Sox don't make the playoffs, that's below expectations. That's a disappointment, and I think Ricky would have to face some of the heat for that. If not all of it, just because of what we've seen so far. If this continues to happen, if these decisions that we all are questioning all over sports radio and social media keeps happening, yeah, he'll definitely be on the hot seat. He's already that seat is getting hotter by the day. But there are other candidates that are out there. The two guys that were kicked off their team for the cheating scandals, Hinch, Cora. Those are World Series winning managers. I would like either one of them to come to the White Sox. I got no issue with any of that past stuff because you ain't cheating. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So those guys are World Series winning managers in this era, like you mentioned, the analytic era. They can not only speak with the analytic parts of their programs, but also, obviously have a relation to the players in this era as well. Alex Cora, come from the Hispanic background with obviously a very Hispanic White Sox team right now. That seems really, really like a perfect match. AJ Hinch, the guy just seems like a genius. I wouldn't mind that as well. So, yeah. So, your point about Ozzie maybe being a little bit different. This isn't 2005 anymore. It's a different way of how managers impact the game. Here and there, Terry Francona is still doing a great job, and he still is a very old school guy. We still see that from time to time, but it seems like teams are moving differently when they are hiring their managers in 2020.
Guys, we're joined by Casey Boguslaw from FutureSox.com, talking a little baseball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Yeah, I see your point, but I like. And it's a prayer. I like Ozzie for this team. I just think he's a little more fired up. He's very fiery. I think this team needs. And again, I don't know how Rick Renteria is in the clubhouse behind closed doors. I don't. I just know what Ozzie brings because we've seen it, and I think this. We talked earlier, so I can see him getting in Luis Roberts' face saying, "Hey, listen, you're not Rookie of the Year yet. You got to go earn it. All right, Moncada, you're not an MVP yet. You got to go earn it." And Rick Renteria could be saying these exact same things. We don't know. I just have a feeling. I just know that in my heart of hearts, that's the type of approach Ozzie would take. And to me, Ozzie has a little more swag. Ozzie has a little more respect, I would think, being a World Series manager. Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me if they don't, look his way. Or, that wouldn't surprise me. That's just my Meathead White Sox dream to have Ozzie back and to take this team because he's got so much talent. He didn't have that talent in 2005. There was just a great team that played together and they knew how to play. He's got, Rick Renteria, this team here is unbelievably loaded. And I think, I would love to see him with that type of team. And it's mostly just for my own personal satisfaction. I just love Ozzie. He's a great baseball mind. His shtick gets tired, after 3 or 4 or 5 seasons, if we win 1 with him, maybe 2, then I'm good. All right. Then, part ways again. Hey, it worked for Billy Martin.
I was saying it's Billy Martin, huh? It's Billy Martin all over again, right?
It'd be a great story. I love Ozzie too. So, I'd welcome him back. I would just be surprised.
Yeah. And listen, let me say this as far as for Ozzie. Ozzie should have definitely gotten another chance to be a manager after the Marlins. So by no means am I saying Ozzie shouldn't be managing, period, or should not have been managing ever since. I'm just saying I don't know if they would necessarily do it with this team nowadays. That's kind of even just when I was asking that. So Casey, let me ask you this. We talked about Lucas Giolito and McCain, and I think we kind of figured hopefully that Lucas is going to figure it out. How long would you think the White Sox should run out Ronaldo Lopez with adding from what last year, even though he had a better ending to the season than he did majority of the season? But how long do you think they should run him out if he's not going to produce in this small season when, as you just said, basically every win is two times more valuable, almost 3 times more valuable every game, basically?
Yeah, let's ignore the health for now because, maybe that decision gets made for the team. But, I would say the easiest answer, don't run Ronaldo Lopez out against the Twins anymore because that just don't work. And they had that option, they obviously you're setting a rotation to start the season. they decided to play Ronaldo Lopez in Game 3 when he's had a lot of success against Cleveland. He could have been starting tonight and just gone off that past success and gone off a team that doesn't hit a million home runs versus a pitcher who's prone to giving up a million home runs. So that is another decision that I just absolutely question. Why not just ease him into it a little bit more? Dylan Cease could have pitched yesterday, and we could have really gotten a sense of what Dylan Cease is going to bring to the table against the Minnesota Twins. So no, I think the leash is shortened on Ronaldo Lopez. It would have been even more shortened if Michael Kopech was on the team this season, just because it would have been another guy, another really obviously great option that would have pushed Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo Lopez, the Nats, when they brought him up in their postseason run that they went on, and that would have been 2016. They brought him out of the bullpen, and I think Ronaldo Lopez could be a pretty good asset. If he was a bullpen guy. And the starting pitching just really hasn't worked for any long period of time with his tenure for the White Sox. With the amount of starting pitching that the White Sox have right now, obviously once Kopech comes back, Rodon's up back to full speed, Dane Dunning, starting pitching is probably the deepest, position that the White Sox have, so that Ronaldo's days are numbered. I got to give him a little bit more of a chance because right now he is probably one of the best 5 available to you right now. But like I said, not against the Twins. Let's see how he does against the Royals, give him a little confidence. And we'll see how his shoulder is too.
How do you feel about them coming back? How do you feel about Game 1, them tying the game? Despite, even though they went on to lose, and then Game 2 they came out like gangbusters. How do you feel? How do you like their mentality that they don't feel out of the game ever, regardless of the score? How do you like that for this young team?
Yeah, even with going down quickly, in Game 1, I had a good feeling that they were going to do well against Berríos. He's not the scariest guy, to face. I think Maeda going against him was a little bit more scary just looking at the series as a whole. So I knew that they weren't out of the game when they were down 5 just because of how much offensive power that they have. It was great to see them come back and tie it. Makata's shot was incredible, flipping his helmet off. He swung so hard because and then, you kind of wanted to see it some more, but they did get to in Game 2. They showed some of that firepower that they're going to have. Bats went silent again yesterday, so that's going to happen. Obviously, your young bats. There were some lineup decisions. There are some easy outs in this lineup, which I think there won't be at at some point this season when Mazara comes back, Madrigal comes up. The lineup just to get fuller, more complete. So they're going to not going to be out. 5-run deficit won't be, an out of the question thing with this White Sox offense. Starting pitching was the questionable thing. One thing that I heard Kenneth mention before I came on was that Dallas Keuchel is your stopper. And when's the last time the White Sox had a stopper? I think I used that exact phrase, Kenneth, when I was on with Shawn, earlier in the offseason. That was what was so great about the acquisition of a Dallas Keuchel, because you have all these young starters in the rotation right now that are going to struggle. Now, they're not going to be consistent in and out. Even Lucas Giolito is going to have, a bump in the road just because he is so young. He's still growing. But the Dallas Keuchel, if you lose 2 in a row and Dallas Keuchel's coming to the mound, you're confident that not only can he, give you a great chance to win, but he's going to get your bullpen set straight. He's going to be able to go out and get you 6 innings, get that bullpen, nice and rested, and give you a great chance to win. And that's what Keuchel did. I think above and beyond everything, Makata and Robert were awesome, but above and beyond anything, Dallas Keuchel was the biggest takeaway of, positives if you're listing them out for that 3-game series. They won 1, but they won 1 really because of Dallas Keuchel.
Right. Even going back to the exhibition with the Cubs, like I think he's the biggest thing last week. Because, one, he was a free agent, and sometimes you're worried he's a pitcher that pitches in a fashion that, we talk about analytics isn't necessarily vogue in the MLB today. But still having someone that's in there that's wise, a former Cy Young guy, as you're alluding to be like, give me the rock. I mean, you can kind of compare it, and I think he's better than this player at the time. And he never was really the guy here like with Jake Peavy, but Jake Peavy had, and it was, you need a guy to be like, I'm gonna settle this down. Let's get out there. So that for me, because again, with Keuchel coming here, he wasn't someone where it's like, I'm sitting here, I'm really pumped. He was pumped by that allotment of free agents that they brought in, that they actually went out and spent and used the money wisely. But yeah, that last week, he's the thing that makes me feel he makes me feel the best, because for the hitters, I kind of thought they were going to be those players in the first place to a certain degree. I mean, we're taking away from what they were doing last year, and you hope they would just add to it. But he makes me feel good inside as a Sox fan. And I need that, because it's hard for us out here in these streets. It's been a rough and a long time. So to finally have a guy where it's like, give him the ball, because we usually go with who's hot, because since Chris Sale's been gone, that's basically been it. It's like who's hot, and even when you're looking at Quintana, and I mean, we never gave Quintana run support anyway, but I mean, he was gone soon after Sale was gone, but just to have something. So I'm hopeful, and it's sad because let me ask you this. I want you to dive into your Sox mind when I ask you this question. So you got to go full Reinsdorfian on this. Because I'm asking, will they use, if they don't get into a 16-slot playoff, will they use, and I'm not saying it's not a full excuse, but this season being shortened due to the pandemic as an excuse to bring Ricky Renteria back? Because I think if you're a Sox fan, and that's not to say we thought the Sox were going to be great this year, so you thought maybe Ricky would get a chance, maybe a 2-year run with it. But since we're not going to have a full season and the Sox paid all these players, the clock is starting to tick now. It's like, okay, 1 year. But then if we're going to basically be like next year, it's kind of like they're starting over because it was such a small sample size. It's kind of like you wasted 1.5 years almost of this playing time that you have control over. So my question again is, if Ricky Renteria doesn't get this team into the playoffs, will it be some old Reinsdorf stuff where it's like, you know what, we're going to keep him and give him another chance? Or will they really just grab the bull by the horns when you have this much talent? As Shawn said, Ozzie didn't have this much talent. And it's funny because the year before, and it wasn't the same, the White Sox did have a lot of talent, because that's when you had Carlos Lee, you had Miguel Ordonez, and Frank was healthy at the time, and they were like, we don't want to try to win that way anymore. They went to more situational hitting because Scotty Paz was getting on deck all the time or whatever. But again, do you think they're going to give Ricky Renteria more chance, if not, if they don't make it to the playoffs this season?
I don't have a reason to believe otherwise. It's sad to say, White Sox didn't fire Robin Ventura, and there was, I guess, a little bit more, of a background with him. But the White Sox did not fire Robin Ventura. Robin had to walk away. They wanted to keep him, and Robin Ventura was not a good manager. And Renteria has been a better manager so far than Robin. But I get the big difference is Robin wasn't. He wasn't. He didn't have as much talent as this. They were contending teams in 2012, 2013. They had that massive free agency haul, in 15 with Samardzija and Miguel. What's his name? Melky Cabrera. So we don't need to spend a lot of time, dissing on Reinsdorf. We're all coming from the same background. We see what he does with the White Sox. He does with the Bulls. He's not a guy that likes us to spend money on multiple managers at the same time. We're seeing that with the Bulls. We might have Jim Boylan back at some point, which doesn't make any sense. So, it's the same thing, with the White Sox. I would be surprised, if they were to go. We talking about how surprised would I be if Ozzie Guillen became the manager. I'd probably be less surprised of Ozzie Guillen being the manager than the White Sox actually firing Rick Renteria. As sad as that sounds, it just, this team, Reinsdorf, I won't spend time dissing him. I'll actually compliment Jerry Reinsdorf, that Jerry Reinsdorf's best quality, and to a fault, is his loyalty. And it's gotten him through, it's brought, partially brought 7 championships to us Chicago fans with his tenure of being owners. And I'm sure people like working for him. Granted, he just laid off a bunch of guys in the middle of a pandemic. So, but loyalty to coaches. Kenny Williams is still there. He usually just promotes guys instead of fires them. So maybe there's a position for Rick Renteria in the front office somewhere that they can just move him up and bring in a nice new manager. Maybe that's the ticket.
Guys, he's Casey Boguslaw, Hey, thanks, buddy. I appreciate your time. Do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Yeah, at Casey Boguslaw, and follow all the good work at FutureSox.com. Obviously, paying attention to everything going on over in at Boomer Stadium in Schaumburg. But a lot of good prospects got their debut in the series, so it was good to see. Cody Hewer was awesome. Jimmy Lambert, of course, Lewis Roberts. So a lot of good stuff. Follow all of the prospect knowledge over at FutureSox.com.
Great stuff, buddy. We'll be in touch soon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Guys, we got to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we have more sports conversation. We got a guy, a good friend of ours, joining us as well. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
Quicken Loans presents the Sports Flash, driven by Jeep on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
App swings, drives one in the air to left field. Pretty well hit. Back goes Yelich. Near the wall. It's got a chance. Gone. Ian Happ, an opposite field home run. And the Cubs have opened up an 8-1 lead here in the 8th inning.
Ian Happ with the 2-run homer to left. Josh Phegley scored the Cubs with a 9-1 rout over the Brewers on Sunday. The Cubs radio network with the call. Tyler Chatwood pitched a 3-hit ball over 6 innings as the Cubs out-hit the Brewers 11-3. 8 strikeouts for Chatwood. Meanwhile, Freddie Peralta, 4 earned runs on 3 hits over 3 innings. He walked 2 and struck out 3. Nelson Cruz homered twice. Kenta Maeda was strong in his debut for the Twins. They routed the White Sox 14-2. 6 strikeouts over 5 innings for Maeda in the win. Blue Emu promises no chill, no burn, no odor, just what you need to soothe tired muscles and joints. The Sports Flash is driven by Jeep. Chuck Sanders, 1330, 95.9 The Zone.
Indeed knows you've got big goals for your business, and we understand hiring is a crucial part of that. You need to hire people who will make a real impact. Indeed can help you find those important hires faster while paying only for what you need without any long-term contracts, thanks to our super flexible payment options. Start finding your important hire today with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high impact. That's Indeed.com/high impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, save that bee. We need him.
Did you know pollinators are more than just honeybees? Did you know 1 in 3 bites of food is made possible by pollinators? That's why Prairie View A&M Cooperative Extension is prepping for pollinators this summer. Identify your backyard pollinators, take photos, and plant the flowers that help them thrive. Visit agnearme.com. That's agnearme.com to download our pollinator prep guide today. Let's get prepping.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Just got off the line with Casey Boguslaw from FutureSox.com. And you know what? I'm not hitting the panic button yet, Ken. I'm like, all right, let's go. Ken's like, pow, pow.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm waiting. It's a wait and see situation. And again, I think when you're in a bad relationship, you're always skittish to, things turning back wrong again. So being fans and being in this relationship, you're always like, hold on, are we going back down that dark road? So no, I'm waiting, but I'll say this much. And I hate to say it because, clearly it wouldn't be like that. But in about a week and a half, I'm hitting all types of buttons.
Well, next we got Cleveland, Kansas City, and Milwaukee coming up next. An 8-game stretch with those teams. So it's going to be interesting how this next 8-game goes. Is going to be a good indicator of how this thing's going to go. Cleveland has been picked to finish to compete for the AL Central title. Kansas City, they suck. So and the Brewers are one of the favorites for the NL Central. So they got a nice little test coming up, little 8-game stretch, and hopefully they can they can come out of their little shell and get a little more consistent. Hey, have you heard of our new show that we have on here called What's Up, Cuz? Oh man, so it's Jason Palmer and Lance C. Irvin, head coach from Chicago State men's basketball.
No, you told me about it. You did tell me. You told me about it.
Man, they got some banger guests. We want to bring Jason on a little bit. They got their lineup. They came out with a bang. They had Tim Hardaway, the first show.
So Danny Manning was hitting them up already.
And Danny Manning again today. So I want to bring out our guy, Jason Palmer, who works for the Chicago Crusader. I want to talk a little bit about his show later tonight. Jason, what's up, Bubba?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
How you doing, Jason?
Where you at?
Hey, man, I'm at the crib, man. You know, I got all inspired by Joseph down there in Tennessee earlier today. I said, I can shoot from outside, too. I ain't got no mountains, so I got like some trees and some birds. They go my neighbor. I got a lot of neighbors, man. All my cool white neighbors. I got to say hello. You know, yeah, you know, everybody been treating me different since George Floyd, so.
Oh no!
Everybody wave now.
So you okay? Are you all right? Are you good?
I am.
We're good. Woo. So, man, talk to me. What do you got on tap tonight, man? You got some bangers coming out. Dude, if you're a music producer, you be having nothing but bangers, boy. As I'm telling you, who's coming out tonight?
Yeah, we got a big show coming up tonight. A special edition. We're actually extending the show by a half hour tonight, just to get an extra guest. So we're gonna start off, and our first guest is gonna be Danny Manning. You know, Danny Manning,
Jayhawk, baby, Rock Chalk,
yeah, Rock Chalk Jayhawk, 1988 college champion, a two-time NBA All-Star, former coach at Wake Forest University, amongst other places. Danny, actually, Danny came to us. He watched our first show where we had Quitman Diller, Tim Hardaway, and Cootie Williams on our inaugural episode. He loved it so much he contacted Lance. Said, hey, man, I want to be on your show when you can get me on. Sure, not a problem. You know, brand new show, looking for people, of course. So, man, I was, you know, honored to have him. So looking forward to some good conversation with Danny tonight. We're going to talk some NBA. What can we expect here going forward? Get some predictions from him, what he's thinking about the playoffs and who he's got winning the title. And so he's our first guest. And then coming up right after Danny, the Chicago Sky yesterday, their first win of the season. What a game that was. They win it, you know, on a big shot by Quigley, a three-pointer with 14 seconds left. You know, I think that's the team in Chicago that's actually got the best chance of winning the championship here within the next year or two, because the Sky are really loaded this year. So we're going to have from the Chicago Sky, Gabby Williams is coming on, and hopefully Diamond DeShields. Diamond did get a little injured yesterday, but we're going to try to get both of those ladies on to talk not just about the Sky, but, you know, Kenneth, and I'm sure you're aware too, the WNBA players have been at the
more progressive.
Yes, they've been the most progressive out of everybody, and I'm not just talking this season. They've been like this for a number of years.
Yes,
I mean, I was living in Minnesota when Philando Castile was murdered, and when I was up there, the Lynx, which is the Minnesota women's team, told basically the Minnesota police officers, y'all can't work security at our games no more, and was dead serious about it. And they didn't work security there ever again. Wouldn't let any of the Minneapolis police work their games. They used a private security firm for their game. So, you know, the ladies of the WNBA have always been progressive on this. So I want to delve a little bit into that. And they've got some initiatives that the Sky are getting ready to announce officially on Tuesday, but they're going to talk a little bit about it on our show tonight. So we got them coming up. But then at 7:30, I got to switch to hockey because the Blackhawks are in the playoffs. We don't know how, but they are. Right? Blackhawks are in the playoffs. So I got a Stanley Cup champion from the Blackhawks who's coming on the show. But we're not going to say which one yet. But we got a Stanley Cup champion Blackhawk coming on the show tonight. So that's going to be at 7:30. And then at 8 o'clock for our extra bonus half hour, I got a future basketball Hall of Famer, an Olympic gold medalist, and one of the best basketball players that has ever come out of the city of Chicago, Cappy Pondexter. And Cappy is the truth, you know.
So I got a funny story about Cappy, man.
Okay.
So, Cappy, back when Alumni Hall was still there on Sheffield, my cousin was in college going to the Paul. So he's like, dude, there's open gym. So we go there. We went there a few times, and one day, Cappy's there and we're playing, and me and her just going at it. Because I don't give a damn. You're on a court. Man, right. Woman, child, transgender. I know you're 7. I know you're 7, but don't step on this court if you ain't ready. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And me and Cappy were going at it, and she was talking a whole bunch of shit. I was doing the same, and it was game point for them. She comes down. She comes off a screen. I go over the top of it. She comes down the lane. She lays up a floater. I jump as high as I could. We go chest to chest, like boom, and I feel the heat of the ball raise my fingertips. And I'm telling you, I'm high as I can get. I knock her to the ground. The ball floats right through the net. Next. Chest to chest, and she slides back. She's like, next.
She told you sit your ass down.
What she said. That's what she said.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
And you know what? You're just one of the victims. There are men all across Chicago who have been victim to being on the court with Cappy Pondexter. Cappy could flat out play when she was at Marshall, playing under the legendary Dorothy Gators. She got the WNBA tattoo on her arm when she was a sophomore in high school. That's how much confidence she had in her game. And then she went on and played at she played at Rutgers, if I'm not mistaken, under Vivian Stringer, and then played in the league for a very long time, and was a member of the Olympic team, won a gold medal for the United States. Just a really solid young lady. She's also had a fashion business that she was running. I mean, Cappy has done a lot of stuff, and she's now in retirement. This is her second season in retirement. So we're going to talk to her a little bit about what she's got going on post basketball. I'm sure she's going to give us some of her war stories and what she currently thinks about the WNBA, because those ladies made a lot of gains over the off season. They really petitioned for a lot of things, better travel. They had them flying coach, for the love of God, which I still never understood. You got a 6'3" tall woman back in coach. So, they made a lot of gains like that for the WNBA players. And, I think now is a good time for them to try to get this product out here, as other sports have not kind of started yet. So I think this first week is really going to be a key for them. So really looking forward to talking to Cappy along with Gabby and Diamond DeShields, who I think is just a phenomenal talent. And so we've got a big lineup on. The response for our first two shows, Shawn, has been just phenomenal. People are really loving the show. They're loving the vibe. Apparently they like listening to my crazy behind. So, we just keep inviting people back, man. I gotta get Ken on the show too. I'm glad he came in to help you, because you were struggling this morning when I called you, brother. I was like, man, if he's doing this for 49, what are he gonna do next year when he turned 50?
Jason, let me ask you this.
This weekend was good. Go ahead, Ken.
Let me ask you this, Jason. So I want to get to the sky. We all know Diamond DeShields. Of course, we know who her father is. And listen, I used to really be a big time Sky fan. All right, big. Me and who's gonna be my former partner, me and Demas on our show. I remember years ago when Wiggins was coming out of Notre Dame.
Right.
He was like, "Yeah, Wiggins gonna get Wiggins at number 2." I said, "Whoa." I said, Deladon is up there in Delaware, and we're going to get us a stud finally, because it was like every year, like when Brittany Griner was coming out, I used to be like, nope, we're not going to get the one. Like every year was a big-time star, especially since the NCAA's tournament ends, and then the WNBA draft takes place the next day, basically.
Yeah.
I've always been like, come on, when we got Sylvia Fowles. Dude, when you brought up the links, my first thought is, Sylvia Fowles took her ass up there, right? So for Sylvia Fowles, for what happened when Pokey was here, I used to be a fan of Pokey when she was a college coach. I was a fan when she was here, but when Pokey was here. But then for Deladon, who was an MVP last year, and we finally had a stud, basically Tracy McGrady, all right? And for her to leave, I kind of was like, you know what? It's got to be the Sky. I'm done. I dipped. I know they played better last year, but I dipped out. So it's time for me to come back. Should I come back? Should I trust them is the question, Jason.
So here's the thing, Kenneth, and I covered that team. And that was a team when they went to the championship that year, without a doubt. They had Deladon, they had Fowles, they had Swin Cash. Let's not forget they had Swin. So I really covered that team, and I got to know a lot of those young ladies are really good on a personal level in addition to a professional level. And they were a team to watch. With Epiphany on that team and everything else. Basically what happened there was there was some relationship challenges with Chapman as the head coach, her style with the play. In terms of Elena leaving, Elena wanted to be closer to home. But she's always been like that, because if you remember, Kenneth, she chose Delaware over UConn.
Yeah, she left UConn. She said,
like, Delaware?
Right.
Who the hell is going to Delaware? But she went to Delaware.
Must be a fighting hen. What the hell?
Right. She's very family oriented. She has a younger sibling that has some physical handicaps, so she's really a family person. So I think for Deladon, it wasn't so much the organization; it was for her. She wanted to make a family decision. Now I do think Sylvia jetted out because she couldn't get along with Pokey, and she went up to Minnesota, and Swin kind of retired. But the reason why you should come back to this team, not only do these girls have game, not only do they have swag, they got personality, and they got a lot of heart. That game yesterday, they were losing pretty much the entire game. They were down by double digits at a couple points in that game. They were down about 12 points with about 3.5 left in the first half. At the end of the half, they were down by 2. Vegas came out on a 9-0 run to start the second half. They had to come back again. They come back. They literally did not get the lead until the last 14.3 seconds. They were down 1. And then they ran a beautiful pick play for Quigley coming off a screen, and she buried a 3. And they did this with DeShields injured. She only played 15 minutes yesterday. She's got a knee she kind of tweaked. So I think this team is hungry off of how they lost last year in the playoffs. They lost to Vegas on a last-second shot. That's how they got eliminated. So they're hungry. And their coach is a brother, James Wade. And Shawn will love this. We're talking with the Sky about perhaps doing some stuff going forward with Coach James, exclusively with SportsZone. So breaking that news to the boss now. But there's a lot to like about this team. These young women have a lot of personality. We already talked a little bit of how they feel about the social justice issues. They're going to be on the forefront of that, and they can ball, man. They can ball for real. And they got great personalities, and that's what I want to bring out of them tonight on my show. They're down there in Florida, down there in the bubble. Fortunately, none of them have snuck out to go to Magic City. They're staying in the wobble down there. Got a lot more discipline than the men players, apparently. So definitely, it's a great product to watch. I think this team, they play an up and down game. Kenneth, Coach James has got them sprinting up and down the court, but they can play some half court too. They got some bigs in Stevens, so they're a fun team to watch, man.
Full disclosure, I did see about 20 to 30 minutes of that game yesterday. I was watching it. Just be honest with you, I was watching it yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, once the
white on my son on the sky. I
was watching yesterday. I was enjoying myself.
Yeah,
Sat down, I said, I'm gonna let this Sky game play.
Yeah, and I mean, the White Sox were out of it after the first inning, so the Cubs was blowing out.
Yeah.
But the Cubs were blowing out the Brewers, so I think they actually got a lot of viewers because of both of the baseball games was a blowout. But they play right again tomorrow. So I think with this WNBA season, they're playing almost every other day. So that'll give the fans a lot of chance to, give them a chance, watch a couple of games, see how you like it. It's never going to be the same as the men product. And I think they've stopped trying to promote it as that. It's just a different style of basketball, but it's still basketball. So.
Real quick, you alluded to the Lou Williams situation.
Yeah.
I have been a person that it may be more of a want, but I've leaned towards if I was going to put my money on something, besides what took place in that last week in March where LeBron ran down the Clippers and the Bucks, I was probably looking at the Clippers because of the amount of balance that they had. You have Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell hasn't even shown up yet. I forget what other player they're missing. And also, they didn't even really have a cohesive unit for the most of the season through the load management with their 2 stars. So is it now that we just look at this foregone conclusion that the Lakers are going to take this? What are your thoughts as far as now? Because I hate to say this because, one, if Lou Williams had a family emergency and really had to leave, and I'll even say this, and in that family emergency, he needed to relax. So he ended up in Magic City. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have as much of an issue, but I mean, the goal, and I said this before Stephen A. Smith said this weeks before. I said, there's no way millionaires aren't going to throughout the bubble. It's just these are people that want to do what they want to do. Millionaires like to do, and as you alluded to, the women having more discipline. Millionaires like to do what millionaires like to do for the most part. It's hard for you to sit there. And I didn't see for 3 months how you're going to have where some gentleman club situation or something along those lines, or something even simple as someone wanting to eat a certain type of food. So I guess the point is now looking at the players that are in the bubble and the teams that have a full allotment of their players, or the majority of their players, who do you have probably winning the title, or at least who you have coming out of the East and the West?
You know, here's the thing, Kenneth, because this is such a crazy season that got interrupted, I'm not really sure if we can give a solid prediction. I mean, everybody's betting on the Lakers, but I mean, nothing is rock solid. Everything is changing minute by minute. My personal choice was I was going with the Rockets because I like, Westbrook, and I figured they could get hot because I figured, people still going to shoot and score. I just, defense is about to really go to hell in the NBA. And it's not like they
more so than it already has. More so than it already has. Jeez.
Yeah. I just don't see that happening. So I'd like to say I'm going to go with Houston, and then I'm going to go with Milwaukee coming out of the East. I think they're strong enough. I think they've got enough discipline. I think they're still hungry from last year of kind of getting there pretty close, and then Toronto doing what they did to them. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going with Milwaukee, and I'm going to go back to Houston. But, a COVID test positive can change this in basketball more than any other sport. Because if it's one of your key people in basketball, you are done.
Yeah,
bingo. We were talking about it with the baseball thing, and we just have to see, hope and pray that we know that Florida is a hot spot, and we got to hope and pray that everybody's safe. And to this point, everyone has been, thank goodness. They just got to hope it continues for the health of their players, and secondarily, so we get some good basketball to finish out the season. Hey, great stuff, Jason. I appreciate it. I'll be tuning in tonight. Check out What's Up, Cuz. Man, that's gonna be a good ass show. I'm looking forward to it. So
they go to FedEx, man. That means my package here. I gotta go. Over here.
Jason,
all right, fellas.
We'll see you later. All right, boss.
See you tonight, fellas. Peace out.
All right. Oh man, hey guys.
All right, now you told me last week. You told me about What's Up, Cuz, and told me I was getting down. Yeah, dude, I'm tuning in to that joint.
Out the box.
You got me. You're pulling me in. You're pulling me in, Shawn. You're sneaky with it.
So yeah, this show, and I listened to the Hardaway interview. Man, that was dope. When they feel, because they have a relationship. Lance Irvin, that that name is a powerful name here in basketball. They have the connects with people that we don't even realize, and so they feel comfortable. And that gives great interviews when you feel comfortable, as opposed to your PR guy setting it up and and you don't know them as your first time. They feel comfortable with Lance and Jason to talk about issues. And like I said, the one part that really got me was the way Tim opened up about how he almost broke his family up. Pushing Junior so hard, and it was just like, whoa, you won't get that with other people. Him bringing that nugget out. It was like, whoa, man, that was that. At that point, I was like, I'm done. This is a great show. So yeah, check it out, man. I'll go on the app and check it out later if you can't get it tonight. But
I'm in.
Cool. Well, 2 hours is come and gone, guys, and I want to thank my guest Casey Boguslaw for coming on, talking a little baseball with us. Appreciate it. Jason Palmer for his little preview for the show tonight. I want to thank my guest co-host Kenneth Davis for hopping out for the last hour and getting a chance to talk, just shoot the breeze a little bit with us. Talking sports, it's always a good time.
Hey,
I'd be remiss.
You need me Friday?
Yeah, sure.
You got me, so I'm coming in on Friday.
I like it. I like that kind of party.
Got me.
I would be remiss if I didn't say what's up, and thank you to my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, the Wiz, Ivan Vargas. Thank you, Papa. I appreciate it. We got to say what's up to Clarence Council. He is our social media posting guru. He is a social media posting fool, boy. You see all the things we got on our page and on the app. That's Clarence Council. He's doing it by himself. He's running it. He's killing the game, and we appreciate it. Big shout out to Elliot Baez. He's our butt guy. He's our Kramer. Broadcast using this technology. What is it? What does BUTT stand for?
Broadcast using this tool.
This tool. So we call it. So he's our butt guy. He's our ass man. Ass man, Kramer. Ass man, you got that right, buddy. But, big shout out to those guys. They run help keep they do behind the scenes stuff that you don't see, but they keep us running so you can hear us all over the country, all over the world. So we appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. So for my lovely co-host of Absentia, Maya Kai, and my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, Ivan Vargas.
See y'all Wednesday.
And my man, Kenneth Davis, will be back with us on Friday. I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. All right, we're going to take a 46-hour break, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Same bad time, same bad channel, 9 a.m. to 11 Central Standard Time. So until then, I got 2 words for you, folks. We out.